Can you feel it creeping like an electric current through the icy streets of Detroit? Does the roar rumbling beneath Ford Field signal the birth of a new era that could shatter every expectation we've held for so long? Could this offseason be the seismic moment where the Detroit Lions finally flip the script and rise to claim the throne in the NFC North? If you're sitting there wondering whether this is just another pipe dream or the dawn of something historic, hang on tight, because what I'm about to tell you is the kind of news that makes your heart pound and your spirit scream. This is our time. Mash that like button and drop your belief in the comments if you're as hungry as I am for the Lions to finally shake the foundations of the league. Whispers have been leaking through the very veins of the Lions front office, a tight-lipped conspiracy swirling behind closed doors where cell phones go silent and every word is weighted with the gravity of a bombshell about to explode. Insiders say an unprecedented shift is underway, a shadow war among top-end FL franchises as the Pittsburgh Steelers juggle their roster and cap space in a way that no one saw coming except us, the faithful who listen for every crack in the silence. Shockwaves are rippling across the league, murmurings growing louder that the Detroit Lions are not just passively watching from the sidelines, but are primed to snatch one of the most electrifying defensive stars off the market, a move so bold it would demand the attention of every commentator, every rival, and every fan aching for proof that Detroit can taste greatness again. Now, hold on, because here's the heart-stopping truth. T.J. Watt, the Steelers' relentless pass rusher, the fan favorite with over 100 sacks in his career, a nightmare for quarterbacks, and a game-changer at every snap, may soon be donning the Honolulu blue. This isn't just another trade rumor. This is a potential tectonic shift in our defensive identity, a pairing of Watt's ferocity with Aiden Hutchinson's raw, punishing talent that could launch our defense into the stratosphere. Imagine the fusion of these two relentless forces wreaking havoc on opposing quarterbacks, making our defensive front the stuff of legends and turning games into nightmares for anyone daring to step onto our turf. Remember those gut-wrenching playoff near misses? Those seasons where hope flickered and then dimmed under the weight of heartbreak? Recall the glory days of that stout defense roaring in '57, when Detroit demanded respect with every bone-crunching tackle and ferocious sack. This could be the moment that stitches together decades of pain and pushes us beyond rebuilding into true contention. But the sting in every great story is the risk, the what if. What if bringing in a star of Watt's stature unsettles the locker room chemistry that Dan Campbell has painstakingly crafted? What if instead of uniting a desperate team, this signing sparks tension or unrealistic expectations that spiral? Or what if, just what if, it lights a fire under this entire franchise that explodes into the fiercest playoff run Detroit has seen since the glory days of Barry Sanders? The very thought sends shivers down my spine. This isn't some idle speculation. Our cap space positions us to absorb Watt's hefty contract without tanking the roster, meaning this is a shot at crafting a defense so intimidating it changes how teams prepare for us every Sunday. Yet, the Steelers insist they're holding tight, claiming no one's listening to offers, still hoping to lock Watt down long-term, but the tension is palpable. When a player's frustration grows and the financial chess game tightens, the doors crack open and Detroit holds the key. If this deal goes through, it won't just rattle our division, it will shake the entire NFL to its core. And here's the kicker. If this first domino falls, what comes next could unleash the wildest Lions off-season in history. Would the city rise like a storm, roaring louder than ever? Could this be the genesis of a dynasty that Detroit so desperately deserves? Or is this just the opening act in a far more dramatic saga that will keep us on the edge of our seats well into the season? The uncertainty, the electric possibility, it's all building. And I promise you, every second brings us closer to making history. So stay ready, because the moment this news breaks wide open, the NFL world will be watching Detroit, waiting to see if this bold gamble turns into the greatest Lions story ever told. Raise your voices. Motor City Warriors, this is the war cry that will echo through every alley, every bar, every child dreaming beneath the flickering streetlights of Detroit, because the Lions aren't just stirring. They're snarling, ready to rip into the very soul of the NFC North. The locker room buzz is more than just talk. There's a crack in the foundation of what we thought was a peaceful rebuild, a seismic rift fueled by ambition and whispers. Of greatness that whispers from the top brass down to the newest scout who just caught a glimpse of the bigger picture. Rivals are already sweating, flinching at the thought of Watt pairing up with Hutchinson, two monsters of the pass rush. A nightmare concocted from the darkest dreams of quarterbacks who thought their days of fear were over. The Vikings? Watching nervously as the Lions stack pieces that not only threaten the division, but send tremors through Minneapolis, hungry to reclaim what their aging core has started to lose. The Bears, nursing their rebuilding pains, can't ignore the shadow looming from Detroit's north side, and the Packers, ever the proud dynasty, might find their dominance challenged like never before by a ferocity reborn in the heart of America's Comeback City. But this isn't just about rivalry. It's about raw, unbroken history bleeding through every decision, every snap. Remember the gut-wrenching 0-16 season that felt like a death knell for hope? Feel the sting of Calvin Johnson's twilight years, his genius electrifying yet somehow never quite enough to carry us all the way? The wild card collapses, moments when victory was within reach but slipped through like smoke. Dan Orlovsky's ill-fated end zone interception that still haunts Sunday nights, and Jim Caldwell's firing that left fans desperate for identity, swallowed by frustration, yet refusing to inhale defeat. Last year's playoff run offered a glimmer, a flicker of the pride that once roared in the days of Barry Sanders, whose ghost still haunts the Silverdome and Ford Field alike, reminding use of greatness and the cruel hands of fate that denied him a true Detroit legacy. This potential acquisition isn't merely strategy, it's history screaming for redemption, a chance to rewrite the narrative stitched with heartbreak, near misses, and shattered dreams. But what if it unravels the fragile chemistry Dan Campbell has brewed like a sacred oath? What if the pressure fractures more than alliances and becomes the albatross the team cannot shake? And in the wildest dream, what if this sparks a firestorm? A playoff blitz so intense it resurrects the pride buried under decades of disappointment? Detroit, can you hear it? That primal roar building within, ready to burst free and shake the league's foundations. With cap space aligning and the front office sharpening the knives of change, this moment is both an opportunity and a crucible, a test of faith and daring at the highest stakes. The Steelers hold their line, but under the surface, cracks deepen. Frustration inches toward impatience, and when the Lions' offer lands, the NFL's landscape could erupt in ways we've only dared whisper in the darkest hours following crushing losses. This dance with destiny could ignite a wildfire one that ravages the division and sets ablaze a path to glory. And as the first domino teeters on the edge of that table, one haunting question reverberates through the heart of every Lions fan and every soul in Detroit. Are we witnessing the Phoenix moment that will crown the Motor City's rightful kings? Or is this just the opening salvo in a war of legends yet to be written? Hold fast, because when the truth emerges from the shadows, it won't just echo through the city. It'll shake the very foundations of football itself, leaving us breathless, hungry, and roaring for more.